Arash Madani has been kind enough to join us. Arash, can you wrap your head around this?
Yeah, just a couple of things there. One reason that he can suspend Rice indefinitely now and couldn't in the past is because at that time, Ray Rice was under contract to a team. And so he was a member of the Players Association. He was a member of the Players Union.
Okay.
By being released, he is no longer part of that Players Association anymore. And so they can now ban him. So that's where that is.
That's under the normal human being clause.
Right.
Awesome information, Arash.
Right. The other thing to keep in mind of when Goodell was asked about the CBA stuff, this is not a collectively bargained issue. Where the conversation went was, why are you suspending Josh Gordon for the year for smoking dope, and why are you suspending Ray Rice for 2 games? And Goodell's point there was the drug policy is collectively bargained.
Right.
That's why we have to do it. There is no clause in the CBA on morality, on battery, on assault.
And it's collectively bargained steps within that drug policy too, right? Like there's levels.
It's 4 games,
right.
and then.
But that makes it worse. Like that makes it worse, doesn't it?
No, I mean it's different though, Sid, because as soon as you test positive, it's 4 games.
No, I understand that, but it's from the personal conduct policy, which we're talking about here. It just, from a PR standpoint, it's worse.
Yeah, from a PR standpoint, it's definitely worse, which is why they changed it to 6 games and then life. And what many people then assumed was the 2 games was given at the time before the new rule was put in place, because they felt that anything over 2 games would be overruled by an arbitrator if Ray Rice and his camp were to appeal anything more than 2 games.
Arash,
so that's just, I'm just giving you some background on kind of where all this is coming from.
And we'd love to do a little bit more reading, but we're hosting a show, and you're giving us information that we desperately need, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
The one thing that Sid and I discussed earlier, and I think it's relevant at this point, are we at the point where after the real life effects of these things, everything is just PR after that? Because it sure feels that way right now.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if I don't know if we'll ever know if the NFL had actually seen the video that TMZ kind of came out with today.
Right.
I'm just not sure. But this much we do know. TMZ is taking down the sports world. Ask Donald Sterling, ask Ray Rice, ask Bruce Levinson, now the owner of the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this is now where you cannot have a misstep or you're going to be on TMZ. And the power of TMZ now has gone from just people with a camera phone, stalking celebrities outside of a 7-Eleven to now taking down some pretty powerful businesses and changing how billion-dollar empires are progressing. So we're in uncharted territory and different times altogether, and it's something that no sports league, no business organization has dealt with before, and now they're having to deal with it on the fly. So it's gone from PR spin in the immediate to how are we going to deal with this, implement policies, and go forward. And that's why in the new policy of the 6 games and then second offense life, it's not just players, but any league employee. Doesn't matter if you're the equipment manager, doesn't matter if you're the VP of marketing at the league office, it doesn't matter if you're a player, a coach, a PR man, you're all under the same guideline, to protect the shield, as the commissioner likes to say.
Arash, we were talking about it earlier, and it's Arash Madani joining us on the line, but it's almost as if the Fifth Estate is not just a wonderful show that wins a lot of Geminis, but it has now become a big part of not only the way we cover politics and journalism, but now sports. And TMZ and Deadspin are almost becoming the Fifth Estate for sports.
Yeah, no question, Tim. And look, the book is being rewritten almost by the month and the year, and even some of the most seasoned PR professionals who have been at this for years and even decades in politics and sport will tell you the news cycle is so different now than it's ever been before, that things many things just don't live, and many things live forever. And it's how you're going to deal with it in the immediate, and how you immediately deal with these things, and how things are immediately handled go so far in the grand scope of this. But as I said, it's uncharted territory. So a lot of people are just unsure of what this new world exactly is, are unsure how to handle it, or unsure of what the ramifications could be. Look what the NFL had from a policy standpoint on domestic violence 3 months ago, and look at where they are today.
Yeah.
I mean, it's altogether different. What the Ben Johnson steroids, and I'm not comparing the two because it just, one is the, assaulting another human being, which is just unspeakable.
Right.
But what the Ben Johnson steroid suspension of 1988 did to expose performance-enhancing drugs all across the sports kind of arena, what different media outlets are doing to expose everything else that before was kind of hush-hush, wink-wink, nudge-nudge, and kept quiet, that just doesn't exist anymore.
Arash Madani here on Tim and Sid. Ray Rice, after new video, at least to the general public, of the incident at Atlantic City between Ray Rice and his then fiance came to light on TMZ, has not only been cut by the Baltimore Ravens, but suspended indefinitely about 20, 30 minutes later by the National Football League. Arash, the PR on this is racing. You can argue this is probably Roger Goodell's worst day as commissioner.
Yeah.
And people aren't waiting for facts. They think they knew exactly what was on that tape. The general public, I mean. If you're Roger Goodell, do you have to go on ESPN tonight?
Yeah, I think at some point you have to address it. Of course it happens on Monday night. Of course it happens on week one when they have a doubleheader. But I think you have to address this, and you have to speak to your fan base, and you have to speak to the public. You're the biggest league in North America, hands down. You are the richest league in North America. You have the broad appeal that you do, not just from a football fan base, but, with fantasy sports and the rest of it. I think there has to be some kind of conversation on this, and it cannot be ignored. And it definitely cannot be ignored on Thursday, fellas. Let's remember that. The Ravens are set to play Pittsburgh on Thursday Night Football, CBS's debut, and that cannot be ignored either, because then you're, sweeping it under the carpet. So, I credit Fox yesterday. They immediately, in the first quarter, at the first opportunity with an injury, addressed the Ray McDonald situation. You had to. Yeah. And now you have to think that the National Football League will do that. And Sid, I think you're right. I think you have to put the commissioner in front of this.
And I guess we have to ask this all the time now, but are there any CFL ramifications to any of this?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we just saw it with the Josh Gordon situation. But Josh Gordon is ineligible to play in the CFL because he's suspended by the NFL while under contract to a team. Ray Rice today is a free agent. By CFL rule, he would be allowed to play in Canada north of the border. So the Ricky Williams rule is why Josh Gordon can't play in the CFL. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of Ray Rice clause the league may say, or there may just be a kind of directive given by Mark Cohan or somebody in his office to teams saying, hey, listen, this is not happening, guys. And really, would Ray Rice come up here for $65,000? In the immediate, probably not. Would he come up here for $75,000? Probably not. So does the end justify the means? I'm sure there's going to be kind of the team presidents are going to be telling the general managers, let's just leave this one alone.
Or if they weren't already, they are now, because you just said that.
Yeah.
But basically, again, just to put it to bed, Arash, you're not hearing any activity internally in terms of teams trying to figure out what the real story is in terms of his status. You're not hearing that, are you?
No.
Okay.
No. Now, the transaction wire actually at 4 p.m., if anyone's going to add Ray Rice to their neg list, they had to do it by 4 p.m. Eastern time today, just to get him on the neg list for today.
Can you imagine the horrible PR that would come with adding Ray Rice to your neg list?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't think you should, but...
Yeah.
Asking why today is a dangerous question.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
In your heart of hearts, do you think that the NFL knew, Arash?
I don't know, Tim.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they knew. I think they knew. How did they not know?
Well, it's the only, you would think they did, but the only thing that, why, if they knew, would they not have brought this out? So if this was their end game, if this was what eventually, A, it was going to get out, but B, if the end game was we're going to suspend the guy indefinitely, why do you wait until the first Monday after week one to make
great
this happen?
week one too? But
right.
the thing is that they could have thought that the video would go. What people are accusing them of
nothing is going away in the
right.
day and age.
Well, hold on, but if
they would have to be really stupid.
But if he pleads down legally, that evidence is done. That evidence isn't being unearthed. And I'm just trying to think how they're thinking if they genuinely saw it and made a decision. Like, why would you? I agree with everyone here. Why would you not be proactive? My only thinking is he pleads down to a lesser charge, and that evidence stays locked, or so they thought. I'm just trying to rationalize how it may have played out.
Yeah.
But it's tough to do on a day like that.
It's definitely hard to do.
And it's also, where the disciplinary power of the commissioner ends. But if a team releases him, I love the point that you brought up here, Arash. He's allowed to have disciplinary power that does things like suspend Ray Rice indefinitely. And
he's not part of the players' union anymore.
But you have to wonder if, and I know the cynicist out there or the cynic will just simply say, those two things were never talked about between the NFL and the Ravens, right?
Well, but hold on. But it also, in the whole legal matter, how much does the whole legal issue change from a from a law standpoint if that video was available? And that could not have been swept under the carpet from a legal standpoint, could it?
Well, that's the argument right now. Did the police see this? Right. And that's what Sid Cicero was screaming about earlier in this show. Like, who's writing the article on the police? And if they saw that video, pleading down with him. I don't know enough about local,
neither do I.
Local police forces in the United States to understand what can be pleaded out and what can't be.
But my point to that, though, is, at the core here, the NFL's saying we didn't see it.
Right.
Someone in that law enforcement office in Atlantic City knows the answer to that question truthfully. And I'm just curious if digging isn't going on right now. Listen, based on what we've seen today, I hope there is. Based on what we've seen today, you're going to take the NFL at face value on much? I don't know. I think it's a tough sell today. So I'm hoping somebody's digging in Atlantic City. Arash Madani joining us here on Tim and Sid. Arash, I believe he's going to get another chance, despite all the craziness today.
Watch that car backing up,
Hold on.
by the way.
Yeah.
Arash, don't get hit by the truck backing up.
Hold on. Sorry, no, that's just the NFL backing up on Adam Schefter and Chris Moore.
Oh, no.
Sorry. I was thinking it, and I said it out loud, and I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. I'm of the opinion Ray Rice is going to get another shot in this league, Arash. I think Tim is on the same wavelength. We're not saying it's right, but based on history, this is how the NFL operates. Do you think his NFL career will continue at some point?
I don't think it's going to happen in 2014, and what's going to happen in the future. I just don't know. How does he get back in?
Yeah, if Michael Vick got back in, if others who have been in terrible, terrible situations got back in, I feel if you serve the punishment for your crime, that you should be afforded a second opportunity.
Michael Vick went to prison.
Yeah, no, I know.
Flax went to prison.
Yeah.
Different.
Dante Stallworth.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe that if people think that he's got the talent, they won't give him the opportunity.
Let's just remember this, guys. What's the one position in football that's the most expendable?
Yeah.
What's the one position in football where guys fall off the cliff? What's the one position where the last 2 years there have not been first-round picks invested in? Yeah. I'm not talking about punters. I'm talking about running backs. He still plays a position where speed is a premium. Speed's the first to go. And
he averaged 3.1 a carry last year.
Yeah. So, if he sits out a full year, where is he physically?
Yeah.
That's going to be the question.
Arash Madani here on Tim and Sid.